at this sentence. Millions of people say it every day. Native speakers say it, teachers say it, and even you might have said it. But the sentence is wrong. And in a few minutes, I will show you exactly why. Hello, welcome back to Learn English with Gifty. Today, we're going to look at 10 sentences that look correct, but are actually wrong. Some of them have logic mistakes, meaning the sentence doesn't make sense when you think about it logically. And some of them are just confusing everyone, even for native speakers. So if you make any of these mistakes, don't feel bad. You're not alone, because most people do. And after this video, you won't. Let's get started. Before we begin, a small warning. Number 7 is one of the mistakes that a lot of people make, even you. We'll get it soon. But first, let's start with this. Okay, let's think about this sentence together. I could care less. People say it when they don't care about something. For example, when you're angry and you say, I could care less about what they think. Is that what you actually mean? What they are trying to say is, I don't care at all. Okay? But wait. Read this sentence again. I could care less. Can you see the mistake? If you can care less, it means you care a little bit, and that's not what you're trying to communicate. So what you say instead is, I couldn't care less. Okay? So couldn't, it means it's impossible for you to care. So couldn't is, it is not possible for you to care less, if you want to add that. So let's compare. I could care less, meaning you care a little. But I couldn't care less, meaning you don't care at all. You see the difference? Just one small word can change the whole meaning of a sentence. That's why it's important to point out these mistakes and correct them. Let's go to word number 2. Here it is. The word is irregardless. A lot of people say, irregardless of the weather, I'm coming to work today. Irregardless of this, irregardless of that. That's actually wrong. You don't say irregardless of. No, the word you're trying to say is regardless. So regardless means without thinking about something or without caring about the situation, you do it anyway. So regardless of the weather, I went to work. Meaning you didn't care about the weather, you went to work. So what does the prefix IR mean? It means not. For example, irregular, it means not regular. Irresponsible, it means not responsible. So IR plus regardless means with regard. So meaning you care about the attention and you care about the condition. So if you say irregardless of the weather, I went to work, meaning you cared about the weather and you went to work. See the difference? You are saying the opposite of what you mean to say. So it's like saying, I'm unhappy today. That's correct. But when you use irregardless, you mean I am unhappy today. Does it make sense? Of course it doesn't. So the correct word is regardless. Okay? Don't make the mistake again. Coming right up is a sentence about a grandmother. And depending on one small mark, it can mean a dinner invitation or something very, very different. Don't go anywhere. Now, word number 3. Okay, stop. You did not die. You are here watching this video alive. So the word literally means something exactly happened. It is true. It happened in real life. So if you say, I literally died laughing, it means you actually died. And if you died, then how are you watching this video? You see? So let me give you an example. If I say, it literally rained for 3 days. In real life, it rained. It actually rained for 3 days. Okay? If I say the fire literally destroyed the building, yes, the fire destroyed the building. That's correct. It's true. Now look at this sentence. I literally died laughing. You did not die. You are you are alive watching this video, so please don't say I literally died laughing. Don't wish that upon yourself. You did not die. You are alive and well. Instead, you say I figuratively died laughing. Figuratively means not exactly true, but is used to show feelings and emotions. Okay, so if you say I figuratively died laughing, it means you laughed so hard you felt like you were going to die, but you didn't. So you say I figuratively died laughing. Okay, so now you might be wondering, why do people use literally wrong? Because they want to show strong feelings, but they are using the wrong word. But the problem is, when you use literally for everything, it loses its power. Like literally. No, it loses its power when you do that. So minimize your literally. Okay? Before we go to the next word, simple rule. If it's true and it happened in real life, you use literally. If it's not true, not exactly true, but you're trying to show strong feelings, you use figuratively. Okay? Now, sentence number 4. This is very famous in schools. When a student says, teacher, can I go to the bathroom? And teacher says, can you? What the teacher is saying is that your sentence doesn't really make sense. Let me explain. Can talks about ability. Are you physically able to do something? So if you tell your teacher, can I go to the bathroom? You're asking your teacher if you're physically able to go to the bathroom. So you may ask, what's the correct thing to say? You say, may I go to the bathroom? Now, when you use may, you are asking for permission. So that means, teacher, do I have the permission to go to the bathroom? Okay? So can is for ability and may is for permission. But here is the thing. In real life, the difference is not that important. People use can for permissions a lot of times and other people understand. But in formal situations, please don't make this mistake. It's permissible with your friends and other people, but when you're talking in formal situations like a classroom, your manager, the CEO, you say may. Take note of this difference. Okay? So try it. Tell me, may I ask a question? Good! So it sounds polite and confident when you use may instead of can. Okay? We are halfway through. Pause and think. How many of these mistakes have you made before? Write your answer in the comments. I read every comment. And coming up, the grandmother sentence. One small mark has changed the whole sentence. Let's get right into it. Sentence number 5. Let's eat grandma, or let's eat grandma. The two sentences look almost the same. In fact, the same words, but just a comma can change the entire meaning of the sentence. So if you say, let's eat grandma, are you a cannibal? Why do you want to eat your grandma? So it's not correct to say, let's eat grandma. No. But if you say, let's eat grandma, it means you are inviting grandma over for dinner. So let's eat grandma. Much better. Not let's eat grandma. You can't eat your grandmother. No. Comma tells the reader you are talking to a person. So without the comma, grandma looks like what you want to eat. Let's look at another example. Stop, John. Now you are telling John to stop. When you say stop, John, you are telling someone to stop John. A comma, just a comma, and it has changed the entire meaning of the sentence. Okay? So remember, when you speak to someone by name, use a comma so you won't confuse your readers. Okay? The 6th one, borrow versus lend. This is a common mistake a lot of English learners make at every level. In fact, when I was in elementary school, I made this mistake too. And mind you, I'm a native speaker. So if you've made this mistake before, don't worry. I'll teach you the correct thing. Okay? Now, borrow is to take something from someone for a short time. Can I borrow your pen? It means to take something from someone for a short period of time. But lend means to give something to someone for a short period of time. Can you lend me your pen? So borrow, to collect, lend, to give. Okay, I lent her my book, meaning you gave her your book for a short period of time. I borrowed her book. It means to collect something, you took the book for a short period of time. So borrow, collect, lend, give. So you see the difference? Don't make the mistake again. Okay? 3 more to go. And number 8 is one I promise you almost everyone gets wrong. Not just English learners, native speakers too. It's a mistake that sounds more polite, but it's actually an error. So keep watching. The 7th sentence, it's not between you and I. No, it's between you and me. Let me explain. After prepositions like between, for, and so on, what follows is an object pronoun. Object pronouns are me, you, her, him, them, and us. So my subject pronouns are you, she, he, they, and we. So you can't say between you and I. That's wrong. I know it sounds formal, it sounds educated. I also used to make this mistake until I learned that this is actually wrong. So now I'm teaching you. So between you and me is the correct one, and not between you and I, because I is a subject pronoun, so you don't use a subject pronoun after between. Now here is one trick. Remove the person from the sentence, and if it still makes sense, then you're correct. But if it doesn't make sense, then you're probably wrong. If you say between I, it doesn't make sense. It sounds wrong. But if you say between me, it sounds more correct. So why are you using I instead? Don't make that mistake again, okay? Now, sentence number 8. Here is a similar mistake. People use myself because they think that it's more professional and more formal, but it's actually wrong. Myself has a specific purpose in English language, which is reflexive pronouns. You use myself when you are the person both doing and receiving the action. For example, I hurt myself. You caused the hurt and you are receiving the hurt. So you use myself when you're both doing and receiving the action. So if you say, please send the email to John and myself, that's incorrect because you did not do the action. You are only receiving the action. So that's wrong. So you use myself only when you're doing and receiving the action. Now, let's also try this hack. If you remove the name from the sentence, does it still make sense? So if you say, please send the email to myself, it doesn't make sense, right? Good. So the correct thing that should be there is what? Me. Good job. So you say, please send the email to John and me, not myself. Okay? So if you remove John from the sentence, it's please send the email to me. You see, makes better sense, doesn't it? Sentence 9. Now, this is a very common mistake. And once you learn this rule, you see it everywhere. You use fewer for things that you can count. For example, phone, marker, brush, and a lot of other things. Okay? Then you use less for things that you cannot count. For example, water, salt, sugar, and the rest. Okay? So it's wrong to say there are less people here today. No, instead you say there are fewer people here today. Makes better sense. But when it comes to money, in English, money is seen as non-count because you can't count money as a concept. But you can count dollars, you can count euros. So you can say, I have less money, non-count. But you can say, I have fewer dollars, count. Okay, so take note of that. Okay, so for person, you use fewer, and for money, you use less. The correct sentence would be, there are fewer people here today. Okay? Now the final sentence, this. You say this every day, right? How are you? I'm good. But technically, the correct thing to say is I am well. Hold on, let me explain. The traditional grammar rule is that good is an adjective. So it describes a noun. And well is an adverb. So it describes a verb. When someone asks you, how are you? They're asking you about the state of your health, which is a verb. So technically, it should be, I am well. But you know what? A lot of people say I am good, and it's generally accepted in English language. So if you say I am good, you're not totally wrong. But I would advise you to use it with your friends, your family, your sister, and the rest. But if you're in a professional setting like your school, your work, you're talking to your boss, it's better to say I am well. Okay? But either way, either one is still good, but just know when to use which. Okay? So we looked at 10 sentences today that sound right, but they were wrong. Let's do a quick recap. Number 1, I could care less. Wrong. It's I couldn't care less. Very correct. Number 2, irregardless. No, it's regardless. Number 3, I literally died. No, it says I figuratively died. Number 4, can I go to the bathroom? Permission. No, instead you say, may I go to the bathroom? Number 5, let's eat grandma. No, it's let's eat grandma. Number 6, can you borrow me? No, instead you say, can you lend me? Or can I borrow? Number 7, between you and I. No, that's wrong. Instead you say, between you and me. Number 8, send it to myself. No, it's not send it to myself, it's send it to me. Number 9, less people. No, not less people, fewer people. And finally, number 10, I'm good. Using it in formal cases, I don't think that's correct. So you say, I'm well, much better. Look, language is not easy. Even native speakers make mistakes, so don't beat yourself up too much. I'm glad you've learned something from this video. Now here is a challenge this week. Pick one of these sentences and use it in real life. Then come back and tell me in the comments, which sentence did you use and where did you use it? I read every single comment. If this video helped you, please give it a like so you can help more people find this lesson. And if you want more videos like this, please subscribe because I post new videos every week. See you in the next one. Bye!